Taylor Swift's sleep was light that night. The kind of restless drift that comes after too many hours in the studio and too many half-finished lyrics looping through her head. When the faint vibration of a phone broke the silence at 3:47 a.m., she barely stirred at first. Just another notification, she thought. Probably one of Travis's teammates sending a dumb meme in the group chat. But then the light from the screen caught her eye. One single message glowing softly on the lock screen beside her. "Thanks for tonight." Taylor blinked once, twice. Her heart seemed to skip. The sender's name appeared just below it like a punchline she wasn't ready for. Kayla.Travis's ex. The one he'd dated for years before her. The one Taylor had convinced herself she wasn't threatened by. Except maybe late at night, when her brain started replaying old photos and old headlines she wished she'd never seen. Now, under the dim lamp glow, the words on the screen blurred. "Thanks for tonight." Her chest tightened. Tonight. As in a few hours ago. As in the same night Travis had told her he was too wiped out from practice to go out. As in the night she'd stayed in the Nashville studio until midnight, polishing a song she thought he'd love. The room suddenly felt smaller, colder. Taylor swung her legs over the edge of the bed, careful not to wake him. She slipped into the bathroom, heart hammering, shutting the door behind her before the light flicked on. The mirror reflected someone she barely recognized. Mascara smudged, hair tangled, wearing one of Travis's old chief's shirts. She looked like a woman who trusted her boyfriend. She looked like a fool. For a long moment she just stared. Then muscle memory took over. She opened Instagram. Nothing new from Travis. No tagged photos. Nothing suspicious. Then she searched Kayla's name. A username she knew too well. No new posts either, but people didn't post everything. People hid things, especially people with something to hide. Her hands trembled as she considered her options. She could wake him up right now, demand answers, or she could look through his phone. The thought made her stomach turn. She wasn't that person. They weren't that couple. But the heart emoji burned in her mind like neon. When she returned to the bedroom, her decision was already made. She pulled her overnight bag from the closet. Jeans, sweater, shoes. Taylor? His voice was thick with sleep. Confused. She didn't look at him. "Your phone went off," she said flatly. "At 3:47, Travis rubbed his eyes. "What message?" She turned, her voice shaking now, holding his gaze like it hurt to do so. "From Kayla. Thanks for tonight." The silence that followed was so heavy it felt physical. Travis reached for his phone, squinting. His expression shifted from confusion to panic in a heartbeat. "Taylor, I can explain. I don't want to hear it." Her suitcase zipper ripped through the quiet like thunder. Travis was fully awake now, sitting on the edge of the bed as Taylor shoved clothes into her bag. The air between them was sharp. Every movement, every breath, felt like a wound. "Taylor," he said, his voice cracking slightly. "Please stop for a second. Let me explain." She didn't. "I don't want another story, Travis. I don't want to hear that it's not what it looks like, because it never is, right?" Her words came fast, trembling, barely under control. "There's always some reason, some justification. But a text from your ex at 3:47 a.m. thanking you for tonight with a heart emoji, that doesn't need context." Travis stood, running a hand through his hair, searching for words. "She texted me. I didn't see it until now." Taylor laughed, short and bitter. "So you didn't see her tonight?" The hesitation that followed was microscopic. Less than a second. But it was enough. Her voice broke. "Oh my God, you did." "It wasn't like that," he said quickly. "She called me. Her mom's in the hospital." Taylor froze, her bag halfway zipped. "Her mom?" "She has breast cancer, Taylor. Stage 3. She just found out yesterday." Kayla was panicking. She didn't know who else to call. His voice softened, the fight draining out of it. "She knew I'd been through it with my mom. She needed someone who understood." Taylor's chest ached with a confusing mix of fury and empathy. She wanted to stay angry, but the words breast cancer pulled at something deep inside her. "You spent the night comforting her," she said slowly. "For 2 hours," he nodded. From about 1:30 to 3:30. You can check the call log. She stared at him. And you didn't think to mention it? Not a text? Not even a note saying, "Hey, my ex called. Her mom's sick. I'll explain later." I should have, he admitted. I wasn't hiding it, I just wasn't thinking. She was crying and I went into fix-it mode. I wasn't thinking about optics. I was thinking about doing the right thing. The right thing, Taylor repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. The right thing would have been telling me. I know. Her jaw trembled. You should have trusted me enough to include me. You should have known how this would look, how it would feel. Travis exhaled slowly, the guilt in his expression raw and unfiltered. You're right. I messed up, but please don't think it meant anything more than what it was. I wasn't with her. I was helping her. Taylor looked away, her throat tight. I want to believe you, she whispered. I really do. He took a cautious step closer. Then believe me, because I'd never betray you. Not now, not ever. The tension in her shoulders wavered. Part of her wanted to keep yelling, to make him feel what she'd felt seeing that text. The ice in her veins, the immediate collapse of trust. But another part, the one that still remembered the softness in his voice when he said, I love you, half asleep, couldn't. Travis's tone gentled further. Taylor, if I woke up to a text from one of your exes thanking you for tonight, I'd probably lose my mind too. You're not wrong for feeling hurt, but I'm not lying to you. Her tears finally came. She sank down onto the edge of the bed, her voice breaking. I was scared. I thought I'd finally become just another one of your exes you'd have to explain someday. Travis knelt in front of her, eyes level with hers. Hey, look at me. You'll never be just another one. For a long moment, neither spoke. The only sound was their breathing. Uneven, fragile, real. Taylor sat perfectly still, her suitcase forgotten at her feet. Her heart was still pounding, but something in Travis's voice, the honesty, the exhaustion, had pierced through her panic. She wiped at her eyes with the back of her hand. If you're telling the truth, she said quietly, then show me. Without hesitation, Travis reached for his phone. You can read everything. He unlocked it, handed it to her, and stepped back. No hesitation. No locked apps. No defensive tone. Just open transparency. Taylor's fingers shook as she scrolled through the messages. Wig 1:32 a.m. Incoming call from Kayla, then a long gap. 3:43 a.m. Travis, I can't thank you enough for tonight. You talked me down from a panic attack and gave me hope that we can get through this. You're a good man. That was it. No flirting. No hidden context. Just grief, gratitude, and exhaustion. Taylor stared at the screen until her reflection blurred. Then she slowly handed the phone back. You were telling the truth. I told you, Travis said softly. I wasn't hiding anything. Her voice broke. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed the worst. You had every reason to, he said. After what you've been through, I get it. Waking up to that message would wreck anyone's peace of mind. Taylor's shoulders slumped. It's not just about the text. It's about every relationship before this one. Every time I trusted someone who swore they were different, until they weren't. Travis knelt again, his hand finding hers. Then let me be the first one who is different. She swallowed hard. How? By doing exactly this, he said. By being honest even when it's inconvenient. By showing you my phone instead of making you feel crazy for asking. By keeping you in the loop next time. Taylor's lip trembled, but she managed a small, tired smile. Next time? He gave a breathless laugh. Not that I plan to get any more middle-of-the-night texts from exes, but if something weird happens again, you'll know first. She squeezed his hand. All I needed was a text, Travis. One message saying, Kayla called. Her mom's sick. I'm helping her. We'll talk later. That's all. I just don't want to feel shut out, he nodded. And I should have thought of that. I'm sorry I didn't. For the first time that night, Taylor let herself lean against him. I believe you, she whispered. I just wish I hadn't gone straight to panic mode. Travis smiled faintly. If our roles were reversed, I'd probably have packed your bags for you. That earned a shaky laugh from her. You would? Oh yeah, he said. I'd have had your suitcase zipped and waiting by the door. The tension broke, just a little. Enough to let a sliver of relief in. Taylor took a deep breath. So what now? He brushed a strand of hair from her face. Now we fix what this broke. We rebuild, we talk. We learn from it, she nodded slowly. And I try to stop letting old scars control how I see new love. That's all I ask, he said quietly. Just don't give up on me at 3:47 a.m. because of something that isn't real. Her laugh came out through a tear. I'll try. The first light of dawn crept through the blinds, turning the edges of the room gold. Neither of them had slept. The exhaustion between them wasn't just physical. It was emotional, the kind that leaves your soul raw and quiet. Taylor sat cross-legged on the bed, her hair messy, her eyes swollen but calmer now. Travis was beside her, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor before finally saying, I really messed up tonight, didn't I? She shook her head slowly. We both did. He glanced at her. No, you reacted to what you saw. I'm the one who didn't communicate. I should have known better. Taylor's tone softened. And I should have trusted you enough to ask instead of assuming the worst. She sighed. You were right. I let fear take over before logic had a chance. Travis turned toward her, his voice quiet. What can I do to help you trust me again? Really, trust me? She thought for a moment. Tell me things. Even the small stuff. Even when it's 3 a.m. and you think it doesn't matter. I'd rather lose a little sleep than lose peace of mind. He nodded. I can do that. Then after a pause, but you have to promise me something, too. What? That next time you'll wake me up instead of packing your bags. His voice cracked slightly on the last word. Watching you get ready to leave was one of the scariest moments of my life. Taylor's throat tightened. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I just panicked? Every time I've loved someone, there's been a moment like this. A phone, a text, a lie. My body reacted before my brain did. Travis reached out, resting his hand on her knee. I get it. But I'm not them, Tay. I'm not the people who hurt you. She nodded, tears threatening again. I know that now. A long silence followed. Not uncomfortable. Just full of the kind of understanding that only comes after both people have been cracked open and still choose to stay. Finally, Taylor whispered, Can I see the messages again? Travis handed her the phone wordlessly. She reread the conversation, line by line, searching for any hint of deceit and finding none, only kindness, empathy, and grief. When she looked up, she gave the phone back. I believe you, she said. And I'm sorry for doubting that. He exhaled, relief flickering across his face. So, does that mean we're okay? We're getting there, she said with a faint smile. But we'll need to rebuild, slowly, intentionally. I'm all in, he said, meaning it. Taylor hesitated, then asked quietly, Are you going to keep helping her? Travis's brow furrowed. Do you want me to? I want you to do what's right, she said. If her mom's fighting cancer, she needs all the support she can get. I just don't want to be surprised by it. He nodded immediately. You won't be. Every time she calls or texts, I'll tell you. And if you want to be part of those conversations, you can. That last part caught her off guard. You'd be okay with that? Of course, he said. You've been through this too. You might actually have better advice than I do. Something loosened in her chest. I'd like that, she said softly. To help, Travis smiled, his eyes finally warm again. That's the woman I love. The one who chooses compassion even after being hurt. Taylor leaned into him, resting her head on his shoulder. And you're the man who remembers that helping people and communicating can coexist. He laughed quietly. Deal. Later that morning, after a few hours of fragile, dreamless sleep, Taylor woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Travis humming softly in the kitchen. The night's chaos felt distant now, like the echo of a storm that had finally passed. The damage visible, but the air fresh and new. She walked in quietly, barefoot, wearing one of his hoodies. Travis turned from the stove with an apologetic grin. I figured breakfast might help fix what my communication skills broke. Taylor chuckled weakly. You're lucky I like pancakes. He set the plate down in front of her, sitting opposite at the table. For a while, they just ate in silence. Not awkward, just peaceful. The kind of silence that exists when words have already done their damage and healing doesn't need more talking, just being. When they'd finished, Taylor spoke first. "I've been thinking about Kayla's mom." Travis looked up immediately. "Yeah, she's scared. And alone. And she reached out to someone who'd understand." "That's human. I can't fault her for that." Taylor took a deep breath. "I want to reach out too. Not for her, but for me. Because if I let fear keep me from showing kindness, I'll never get better at this." Travis's eyes softened. "You're sure?" She nodded. "Completely." He smiled and pulled out his phone. "Then let's text her together." He typed first. "Of course, anytime. And hey, Taylor wants to reach out too if you're comfortable with that. She's been through the cancer journey with her mom and might have some good advice. We're both here for you." Taylor read it, then added, "Hi, Kayla. I'm so sorry about your mom. I know how scary this is. I'm here if you need to talk. Not as anything complicated, just as someone who gets it. Sending strength and love." A few minutes later, Kayla replied with a message that felt like the final piece of the night falling into place. "Thank you both. Truly. I wasn't thinking clearly last night, and I'm sorry if my text caused problems. It means the world that you'd even offer to help." Taylor's chest loosened in a way it hadn't all night. The tension that had once felt like a wall between her and Travis was gone, replaced by something quieter, a fragile, newfound trust. Days passed, then weeks, and when Kayla invited them both to meet for coffee to talk through her mom's treatment plan, Taylor surprised herself by saying yes. The meeting was awkward at first, but not unbearable. Within 20 minutes, the air had softened. Taylor talked about her mom's recovery. Travis shared how his family handled chemo appointments. Kayla listened, took notes, even laughed once, and when they left, she hugged them both tightly. "You two have no idea how much this means," she said, her voice shaking. "You didn't have to show up. But you did." In the car afterward, Taylor turned to Travis and smiled faintly. "Remember when I almost left you over a text?" He laughed under his breath. "Hard to forget. You had a whole bag packed." "I'm really glad I didn't," she said. "Me too, baby," he murmured, squeezing her hand. "We're getting better at this." Taylor leaned her head against the window, watching the city roll by. "Yeah, the trust thing. The communication thing. We really are." 6 months later, Kayla's mom rang the final bell marking her last chemo session. When she hosted a celebration party, Taylor and Travis went together, not as symbols of jealousy or suspicion, but as living proof of what it means to forgive, to trust, and to grow. When Kayla gave her thank you speech, she looked right at them. "These two showed me what love really looks like," she said through tears. "Not just romantic love, but love that shows up when it's hard. When it's awkward, when it would be easier to stay silent." Taylor felt Travis's hand slide into hers under the table. Neither spoke, but both knew what that moment meant. On the drive home, Taylor's phone buzzed with a message from Kayla. "Thank you again for everything. You two are relationship goals." Taylor smiled, showing it to Travis. "Heart emoji from your ex," she teased. "Should I pack a bag?" He laughed. "Nope. Because I trust you." She leaned closer, whispering, "Good. Because I'm not going anywhere either." And for once, neither of them doubted it.